I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us about this really unique and wonderful film. Um, Maybe you could just kick off with a brief introduction. You know, for people who haven't seen the film before, how would you try and capture what it's all about?
Well, the film it's about two sisters who live in a small city outside of Cairo, Zaazig, which is a place that has a bit of identity crisis,
Mm.
and it's a very reserved and conservative place. One of them is Souad, and she lives like a double life on Facebook and on social media. She has a personality, and in her real life, she has another personality. And this ends with tragic consequences on her life that sends her little sister Rabab to a journey to find answers.
Mm, mm. Wonderful.
I think that's pretty much it.
Synopsis. And, you know, it's unique both in terms of the story and setting, but also the way it's shot. It kind of has this almost socio-realist, maybe documentary drama style to it. I think, like, you know, a lot of handheld camera work and very naturalistic performances and dialogue. So, you know, where did the idea for the story come from, but also the way that you shot it?
Well, the initial idea, I had it because there was an incident that happened during my childhood to a friend at school the same incident happened with her sister, and that's why I always had this idea about the relationship of the two sisters. At the same time, I started working with my co-writer Mahmoud Izzat, and then we decided that I wanted the film to be set in outside of Cairo, because I wanted to present the girls who are outside of Cairo, who are usually not presented in our cinema. So that was part of it. And then when we started working, actually we did audition before writing the script. We did auditions for girls just to write the script. So it was from the beginning, it was very organic the way we were working. So we started these auditions and then started writing, and then afterwards we went to several workshops to workshop the script, and then we went back when I started by auditioning for the film itself. I did bardo auditions for like 250 girls, and I picked the four of them at the end. And we started doing rehearsals for 5 months, and during those 5 months we were doing improvisations all the time. I did not give them the script. I just told them the story, or I was just telling them the ideas of the scenes, and we were trying them, and I had a camera and I was always capturing everything. And then I used to finish rehearsals and go back the rest of the week to Cairo to meet Mahmoud, my co-writer, and to give him what we came up with, so we can get their details inside of the script. So we kept working back and forth between what they were coming up with in the rehearsals and what Mahmoud was writing, and then but afterwards, since we spent those 5 months, when we started shooting. I wanted to shoot as a documentary from the beginning. So there were the scenes, there were certain things that we know that we will do in the scene, but I gave them like the freedom to move the way they felt in their house. And we were trying to capture everything as if we were shooting a documentary. So actually my DOP at certain times was just working as if it's a documentary. They were just moving, and he was following them. So it was part of it is I wanted to explore everything. I wanted to explore them. I wanted to explore what I had to say about the subject and about them. So it was very open. It was always open, the way we worked.
And why was it important to you to kind of capture this? You know, it's not only sort of the interior lives of these women, but also these very specific women living in that town, and kind of having this contrast between the personas they have outwardly, both in terms of their family, but also, on and off social media, but also just, representing women as well, and, the kinds of relationships they have with their friends, that particularly the main character has with her sister. Why is it important to you to put that on screen?
Why is it important? I felt that I saw something that was so special there, and that I never see on screen. I never see in cinema, on TV here. Not at all. I don't find them anywhere.
Mm.
Although I can see a lot of a lot of things that I wanted to talk about. I have similarities with those girls. The connection is unstable a bit. You can see me
Yeah, I can still see you and
because
hear you, don't
it's a
worry.
bit unstable.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I find there are similarities between us.
Mm.
I know it's we seem to be in different worlds, but at the same time, I can totally identify with the creating a persona and trying to create an image so you can be accepted and have respect in the society. It's not that easy here. So I can totally relate to this. Uh, so this is the kind of things I was thinking about, and this is the kind of things that we related in. Uh, so I just felt that I wanted people to see it as raw as it is. Everything, the feelings, the way they deal with their everyday life, their interactions with their friends, the anxiety, the relationship with the mobile. So everything, I feel everything in a different way in my life, but at the same time it's very personal for me.
Mm. Mm. And, thinking about, there's lots of moments that are very kind of joyous, and, there's a lot of humor, I think, in a lot of, the banter that she has with her sister, and, lots of the conversations that she's having with her friends. But then ultimately, there's, a real feeling of confinement and repression. And then obviously the thing, interaction she's having on social media, kind of ultimately coming together and leading to this tragedy. So do you think in that respect it's kind of, a bit of a warning about what can happen if, women are kind of forced into these situations and don't feel they can express themselves and don't think they can be who they are? Is it kind of a warning that way, or what do you think the film has to say about that?
Yeah, maybe it's a warning. I was not thinking. Yeah, I was just exploring. I
Mm.
was, yeah, I was even dealing with them when we were shooting as part of them. So I'm actually exploring. I'm still discovering what's. Yeah, till now, especially Egyptian women and girls, when they watch it now,
Mhm.
it was the first time for them to watch it in Berlin,
Mm.
and they all cry very hard, and I was not expecting this. But at the same time, when I felt that they cry so much, I felt that we did something that they related to so much, and I think this was what I wanted. It's not a statement or a warning. It's just um, it's just that I believe that they deserve to be seen and heard,
Mm.
and that's it. Because I believe we do deserve this, to be seen and heard,
Mm.
and that's it for me.
Mm. Thinking about that as well, I thought it was interesting kind of what you've done with sound throughout the film. We have the sounds of being in the streets, at the market, and then also in the home. And then there are also moments of complete silence, where you sort of feel that sense of detachment. So could you talk a little bit about how you wanted to use sound in the film?
The sound, yeah. I worked in the sound like for 6 months, and it was a big journey in the film, and a
Mm,
long one. Well, part of the film, since there's no music or anything, it's all just the effects. And I was very specific about with my sound designer, of course, to what kind of ambience you hear in each scene, because there, the buildings are very close, and you can almost always hear the neighbors and the streets all of the time. So I we were just selecting in each scene, uh, what are you listening to from out there. And at the same time, there are certain shots where you hear nothing, and you're just in her head, in certain points in the first part and in the second part, where you're just in the character's head, and everything is, for like 2 or 3 seconds, nothing is there. So and this was a part of the sound design, where you can be very naturalistic and feel everything as if you're in the place, and at the same time, at a certain point, you feel their head. um, and this is how I felt in the film, that you're just following them as if a documentary. But at certain points, you have moments to contemplate what's happening, and they're very brief moments, because I didn't want it to be long, and I didn't want it to be out of the film's world. You
mm,
just have the time to contemplate what's happening from within.
mm,
So this was part of how we thought of the sound design for the film, and also the difference between the two cities,
mhm,
the ambience between this city and the other city. They're both, there are loud voices in both cities, but they're totally different.
mm, mm.
So you can feel the difference even in the sound, like you can feel it in when you're watching the difference. The sound makes a difference.
Mm. And there are some moments in the film that perhaps from people who, aren't from Egyptian society and, don't know the ins and outs of it, that might seem quite sort of jarring or brutal, kind of, the way the father speaks to his daughter, um, some of the references to religion, sort of, or it's God's will to get rid of her possessions, perhaps. um do you think that there's some hints there toward um how it can be quite repressive in some aspects of that society and some aspects of religion?
Well, I didn't mean it like this.
Mm,
I was just describing what happens. I really have no judgment towards this. At the end of the day, I don't hate her father at all,
mm,
and I know that he has a lot of problems in his life, and he doesn't mean to repress her, and he doesn't mean to
mm,
be mean to his daughters.
mm,
It's just the way it is. I have no judgment towards her parents.
mm,
I'm just capturing it as it is,
mm,
so you can have a moment to contemplate what's happening. But at the same time, I really have no judgment about religion or about them at all.
mm, mm. And in
يعني
thinking,
I'm very similar to what's happening in there.
mm,
I cannot judge them
yeah.
actually.
And thinking about the journey of this film, playing in Cannes and now Berlin, what does it mean to you for the film to be given those platforms?
Well, it's great, of course. يعني, they are my dream festivals, Cannes and Berlin. I love them both, and I've never been to Berlin before. Cannes I've been once, and I just attended for a few days once 10 years ago. I would have loved to be there, but at the same time, it's okay. And at the end, maybe because there was Corona, we got the chance to be in both festivals.
Mm.
And I know if it was physical, it would have been one or the other. So we had a great chance to be shown in both festivals, which is great.
Mm. And what, in that respect, what do you hope the impact of your film to be for perhaps by being at these festivals, it can have a broader audience and, expose this part of Egyptian culture to people that might never have seen it otherwise.
Well, I'm very interested to see how people will react to it abroad. Now I know also a bit about how Egyptians reacted to it,
Mm.
so I'm very curious about how everyone would receive it. And at the same time, I'm interested uh, that our films can be appreciated for their artistic value and for the way they're being shot. Yani, I'm very happy that you're asking me about cinematically how we made the film,
Mm.
and this makes yeah, I appreciate this very much because a lot of a lot of times, even when we were applying for funds, because we got rejected everywhere before shooting, and it was because that they did not seem to get what's the problem in the film. It's just a regular film about a girl who has a relationship with a boy on a social media, and they felt it did not deal with big issues.
Mm.
So I was disappointed at the time,
Mhm.
because they did not appreciate what we were trying to do. But I'm so happy that when the film got made, that actually both in Cannes and Berlin, they appreciated it for what it is,
Mhm.
as simple as it is, as it's dealing with a simple story. And at the same time, I know it has a lot of layers, but the layers are not um, they're not in your face. They're in there. You can find a lot of stuff in there that you can talk about,
Mm.
but it's not meant in every shot.
Mm. And now, after the success that you're having with this film, do you already know what you might tackle for your next one? Do you already have something in the pipeline?
Well, I have something I'm writing with Mahmoud, also my co-writer,
Yeah.
and I want to work on a comedy in Egypt,
Oh, yeah.
which is something else, because I have a career in TV series.
Mm.
I did a very popular TV series, so I have both careers. I do art house films, and sometimes I do TV series. So I might go back to make a TV series till I finish my writing my next film.
Mm. All right, fantastic. Oh,
I
you've
am
got a
very
lovely cat there. I'm jealous. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And it was so lovely to speak to you about your film, which, as you say, it's sort of stripped back in lots of ways. But there's something wonderful. You can read so much into these characters from the sort of slice of life you give us in the film. So I really, really found it fascinating.
Thank you so much. I loved what you wrote on the upcoming. It was, I loved it.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll pass that on to our reviewer. But thank you so much for your time and best of luck with the film and with your future projects. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Lovely
Thank you,
to
sir.
speak to you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.